Hello and welcome to the stage, welcome to the caster desk, welcome to the players back in the studio. It is time for Fnatic versus SK Gaming. My God, it is good to have the players back. I am Drakos, joined for this wonderful TriCast by none other than Ender and Caedrel. Gentlemen, very Fnatic favored desk, but I'm still expecting a banger of a series.
Yeah, I mean, we have to see how they perform, right? It's first time on stage for a lot of these players, 4 out of 5 of SK's players. First time on the LEC stage, whereas Fnatic on the side, they've all been on the stage. So I want to see a 5-game series, but I think the Fnatic are definitely favored because they cover SK's strengths, which is the bot lane.
Look, the desk set it up. It's all about the bot lane in this series. Vedi said, can SK get a draft advantage? We're going to find out. We're jumping straight into Champ Select.
Oh,
what a banger.
That's a twist. All right, here we are. It is game 1 picks and ban. Fnatic going to be on the blue side, SK on the red. A lot of priority picks going to be taken off the board immediately. Tahm Kench denying a Senna Tahm Kench combo. Kalista, Jezu's most successful pick this season, already off the board.
Look, we knew it was going to be about the bot lane, and to see Fnatic so precisely targeting these power picks of SKs. Of course, SK, the bot lane that was playing Kalista plus the Jarvan in the bottom lane. Kalista plus Alistar, the Rel. As soon as we see TK and Rel taken away, I'm looking at Alistar as a next big thing.
Yeah, 100%. And if you look at SK, I think their main engager is Treatz. Jenax is most of the time the follow-up, but in the team fights, Treatz is the one who gets it done. So Rel being taken out, Kalista being taken out, makes it harder for him to get into the backline already. And with this amount of bot lane bans, like you said, Alistar is looking up there, Leona's looking up there. We'll have to see how these teams approach it because Thresh means if you lost Thresh is out, you've got Syra Khan left, Kalista's out, Rel's out, Tahm Kench's out for the Senna. So we'll have to see how they approach this because I think Alistar is arguably the best support on the patch right now.
No, absolutely, and I think that SK, if you look at the style of champions they're banning away as well, of course, the power combos like the Senna TK, but also these protective supports. And we know the bot lane, especially when Fnatic is in the game, is so insanely volatile. Expect junglers to be involved down here, and Fnatic taking away a Twisted Fate that would have a huge influence on that bot lane.
Yeah, looking at the OPs now, I'm thinking things like Tristana, like you said, junglers, Hecarim, Udyr are the strongest ones that are open right now. TF being down, Seraphine being down. These two champions are very strong for both sides of these teams. Fnatic and SK, obviously with the Twisted Fate, both these players play it. Tristana is arguably, from what I've heard, the best AD carry on the patch right now, and with that many bot lane bans, it doesn't surprise me to see them pick it up. But SK should know that Fnatic should pick this. They must have a plan against his first pick, Tristana.
But what can you do against a champion that's this powerful in the early game? It is still technically a flex, can go to the hands of Nisqy, but that Halo Blaze Tristana is so oppressive early game. An upset Hylissang versus Jezu Treatz, early game might just be everything.
Yeah, but the most important thing to note here is they've traded off Tristana and Alistar. I think these are the two strongest champs in the bot lane, and they've traded them off. So I'll have to see how Fnatic want to counterpick the Alistar. The historic counters are range support. Jenax can cancel the combo, you've got Thresh as well. Rel's out. I'm looking at things like Leona perhaps, but there it is. Alistar, Hecarim, two of the strongest champs in the game right now in their respective roles. And now you're looking at jungle and support for what Fnatic want to answer with because you've blind pick support and they have Tristana. So SK needs to find AD carry and Fnatic needs to counter support.
Yeah, right now already SK looking very heavy initiation with their composition and now the Volibear. So this, traditionally you would say top lane Volibear for Bwipo, but some recent buffs to the Voli in the jungle increased the health return on that W inside the jungle. So this is still a flex option for Fnatic.
Yeah, definitely a flex. I think Volibear jungle is such a strong pick. I mean, it can get good ganks going, it gives you frontline, but it looks like Fnatic aren't going to pick up their support here. They're going to pick a control mage for Nisqy, which is a very safe option. So that puts SK in a tricky situation. Do they respond with the AD carry or do they counter pick mid? And then whatever they choose, the other one's going to get banned out. But like you said, Volibear buffed on the W, increased healing in the jungle, and jungle overall got a little bit of a buff with the smite and with the Grom changes.
Yeah, so it looks like, well, the rest of, Jezu's team is going to be flying in there with the Xayah, obviously a strong pick in her own right, but gives some self-peel in that. I also really like that Fnatic went for this Orianna because to me, it was looking like SK was almost setting up for an Orianna either on 3 or 4 here with the Hecarim and the Alistar already locked in.
Yeah, you look at that innate synergy and that would just be so oppressive in what we expect to be a very team fight heavy game. If it is a more controlled early game from the outset, but I do really like the Xayah as his defensive option, can get away from the Volibear diving into that backline, can get away from that Tristana once she hits level 6. Early game, still going to be hotly contested, but the GP banned away from Bwipo, showing us that the jungle Volibear is being respected.
Yeah, definitely. So SK want to target blind pick tops here for Fnatic so they can get the best counter pick possible. Also targeting supports, of course, because they have got the Alistar, and Fnatic want to target mid laner. So the Azir is already out for blue. They've picked up the Orianna. I'm looking at things like perhaps Syndra now for the control mages. And like you said, taking away that Orianna was crucial from Fnatic because Hecarim Alistar with Orianna is such a strong combo. That's been taken away, but that's a Karma ban, which I think was targeted at Karma top lane.
Yeah, we have seen Karma top lane a couple times in the LEC. We'll see if it picks up some more steam here. Of course, we'd love to have that on an Alistar and a Hecarim flying on into the fight. Now SK already seeing the Orianna on the other side. You expect to see them pick up a mid laner for blue. Blue has gone towards some more scaling mages in the past, things like the Victor, but it's going to be
it's the Ahri instead. Yeah, the Ahri, which has been it's risen to the stage. I think Ahri is a good counter pick into Orianna. It's mobile. It means it's really hard to hit the shockwave. And when you've got things like Alistar and Hecarim diving in, it's good to have something that can go in with them. So, wow, Fnatic locking in really quickly there. We've got a Gragas and a Nautilus, so lots of beefy frontline here. Looks like semi Tristana Nautilus bot lane, and that's a Gragas Volibear flex, arguably. I would expect Gragas to go top, but they still have the option for both because Gragas did get nerfed in the top lane a little bit. Q mana went up a lot, so it hurt his early laning phase. What do SK want to respond with? GP's down. I'm looking at things perhaps like an Aatrox, which Jenax has had so much success with.
Yeah, I mean, the Aatrox has been a Jenax pick since the second he stepped onto the LEC stage as a mid laner, played that Aatrox twice, and since then has really found his footing here in the 2021 season on picks like the Aatrox. He's been an absolute machine in the team fights later on, and it definitely gives SK the ability to scrap with Fnatic early.
And while we expect an explosive, bloody early game, anytime Fnatic sets foot on the stage, both of these teams are equipped with the compositions that they have put together to go toe-to-toe in team fights. Tristana, Orianna, beefy frontline to back them up, while the Hecarim can make these massive plays alongside the Aatrox. We've seen Jenax do it before. Can he do it on a big stage game when it matters most? Find those flanks, find those angles that have made him historically so successful on this pick.
And that's something to keep your eyes on. Can Jenax find the flanks? Can Treatz find the engages that he's done so many times before? And can Upset on this Tristana get ahead in the early game with this winning bot lane matchup?
It's a good question. Here we are, gearing up, getting ready. A coach bow instead of a coach handshake as we get ready for the first game in the 2021 Spring Playoffs. Fnatic versus SK Gaming, two explosive compositions set to go toe-to-toe as we gear up for Game 1. And here we are, onto the Rift. God, it feels so good to have the playoffs.
It's so good, man.
Studio. Gentlemen, I think before we look at this laning phase, never mind, we have to talk about the laning phase. This is going to be a level 1 invade. Bwipo getting a little bit sneaky here. Small early game advantages. We know what Fnatic can do with them. We also know how Fnatic can throw them away. We're expecting some explosivity from Fnatic, and we might just see it before the lane phase even kicks off.
Yeah, Fnatic can find something here. They have a lot of engage. They have the Gragas, Nautilus, Tristana. That's such a strong level 1 combo, but Nisqy well spotted by blue. Looks like Jezu did respect it. He's going to back off. But they're going to get a ward in the jungle, which is crucial. Now, when you watch Fnatic bot lane, a lot they like to run bot, put a ward in the bush, but instead, now they put a ward on TynX's blue, so now they know where the jungle starts. But alternatively, SK have done the same thing. Jenax moving in, knowing Bwipo is bot side, gets the free ward. So even trade-off of information.
Yeah, and the crucial thing here is that for both bot lanes, increasing volatility has always been their answer through the regular season. Looking at early trades, early all-ins around level 2, around level 3, especially with supports like the Alistar and the Nautilus. You'll notice Jezu also is going to be running the exhaust, so SK are now going to try and clear away this ward, but it's important to say that TynX is going to be pathing away from his bottom lane, while Selfmade will be pathing down towards Fnatic's.
And perhaps putting more focus on Jenax than we initially expected if he is pathing up to the top side, or could be TynX more focused on himself, more focused on his farming, as we have known him to be across the course of the season. But important to remember the stakes of this game. Fnatic are heavy favorites, partly because of the lineup they have put together on paper, partly because of the history that they have behind them. Fnatic, a team that we always expect to dominate in playoffs. But with the departure of Reckless, with only two members remaining from that 2018 roster that went to Worlds, a big question on our mind is, does that plot armor stick around as the roster changes and evolves over time for a team and organization like Fnatic?
And look, while people saw in the offseason that Fnatic lost the best bot laner in Europe, since then in the Spring Split, they have proven they have the best bot lane in Europe in terms of the 2v2, 11 2v2 kills across Upset and Hylissang in the lane phase.
Gank in mid, though.
Mid.
Is he trying to back off? Selfmade on the way in. The Volibear very strong early, something that they probably have to respect here. The flash forward, he's going to commit for the fight. Big damage comes in from the Volibear. Looking for the second W proc. Will he commit for it for no? He's going to be happy for now. He can move in, he can take the Raptors. Small advantage for the side of Selfmade, but it does add up.
Yeah, Hylissang was already on the way to join that fight, but the problem is TynX gave away too much information. He went for the gank, which was expected by Nisqy from the level 1 ward, and now Selfmade can run into his topside camps because he wins the 1v1. TynX can't contest the Volibear in a 1v1. It's so strong level 3, and TynX forced out. He looks like he's going to lose his Raptors. Selfmade doesn't have smite for the red, so if TynX gets back here in time, he does have the smite. Could try to steal it away, but Jenax isn't moving. Neither is Blue, but they have some kind of push.
And Selfmade's smite is going to be back up. And if you guys don't remember, when Volibear jungle was meta right around the time of the rework, it was because fighting over Scuttle Crabs was so huge. You know, level 2, level 3, the Volibear just so insane in terms of these early trades. You notice with the press the attack as well as that Frenzy Maul and the W, like you do so much damage, you have so much sustain. It's not something that a Hecarim can really contend with in the 1v1.
Yeah, just looking at this jungle matchup overall, Hecarim wants to farm up. He wants to get to level 6, he wants to get to his core items, get that chem tank and start rolling. But Volibear as a champion wants to be active early. It's clear he's fast, but it's not super fast. But Blue might get the flash here. Selfmade.
Flash. Charm comes in. Will reset the cooldown though.
Nisqy.
Charge again. Is he going to commit for more? One auto. Blue going to make it out. He loses his flash, but just barely stays alive.
Yeah, just barely out of range it looked like for that first auto attack. Blue loses his flash, but will be able to TP back into lane. And now TynX does look like he should be able to get this Scuttle Crab because Nisqy low HP, low mana, and Blue is going to be TPing back before Nisqy. Selfmade has to give it up.
Yeah, this Crab is really helping out TynX. He's so far behind. He lost his Raptors, his red, and now Selfmade can clear out this whole bot side. So Selfmade is really ahead in this early game. Treatz having the push in bot allowed him to get that Crab. If he lost that Crab, it would have been a disaster. But both mid laners traded their flashes. As we see a combo in on bot lane. Upset does jump away.
Hylissang taking good damage here. The root has connected.
Going back in.
Selfmade on the way back
Both
down.
junglers here.
Yeah, and just going back to my point about the mid lane flashes, I think that Nisqy is going to be the loser of this because of the Ahri level 6, but Selfmade's here, he doesn't have flash. Treatz does have the combo up again, I think. And they need to crash this bot wave. TynX might come down after the Grom because this bot wave is slow pushing into Fnatic. And if they can't crash the wave in, they might find some difficulties. They might get ganked. Let's see how they push this in.
And it took a few minutes, but we are finally seeing the bot lane focus from both sides. It was a relatively early, even early lane phase, while Fnatic did have the push. SK finally able to push it back. TynX here has been spotted out by the ward, but should secure the push in for the side of SK. That said, as we expected bot lane to be the catalyst for so much action, it's actually been Selfmade on the side of Fnatic who has been kicking things off, but no first blood yet for either side, so despite some explosive early trades, no kills, no significant advantages going down for either side.
Yeah, smart play by TynX there. Covers bot lane to then get the push out, come back on the map together. And Selfmade's on this top side. There's no ward for Jenax, and he has to crash a wave as well.
Big creep wave though. Does he try to take the fight in the midst of it? I don't think he has enough tanky stats to survive this one. Too much damage coming in. Selfmade now on the hunt. The red buff ticking. He's getting slowed down. Jenax wins the
Bwipo has
dash
flash.
back up. They can't finish the job. Overall, not too bad for Jenax.
Look, I was wondering what these teams are going to be cooking up during the 2 weeks they had to prepare for the playoffs, and this is a very different look for Selfmade. Selfmade, usually the guy, I mean, back in 2020 when he was the best jungler in the league, he was always farming, full clearing his jungle on the Graves, on the Evelynn, now on the Volibear, has ganked every single lane in the span of just 5 minutes, and we know that it's so influential in these early games. Now that level 6 has come from Blue, though, so much more kill pressure around this player.
This could be dangerous for TynX though. Hylissang has the flash, Blue's around. We could see a 3v3. Selfmade's quite far. Bwipo has TP, but the hook is gonna miss. Selfmade clearing up his camps, and like you said, Selfmade's such an aggressive player, and I think the Volibear actually suits him pretty well in terms of getting ganks off. And the meta as well, look at his items, look at TynX's item, Boots first item, makes it so he can be really quick around the map, look for these ganks, set up vision early game, and just establish map control. You see the difference between Selfmade in Summer 20 and 21.
Yeah, Summer 20 obviously was looking pretty solid for him. He was kind of the pioneer, as you said, of the farming jungle meta. Now, Spring has been a little bit quieter, lower kill participation, lower CSD advantages. We wanted to see Selfmade step up here in the playoffs, and so far, while it hasn't resulted in greater advantages, Selfmade is certainly off to a solid start. Yeah,
and we'll have to see how he's able to continue this ball rolling, because SK do have some strong scaling elements, especially if you look at the jungler. Of course, level 6 should be coming up very, very soon. And you'll notice, Blue with his ultimate, TynX with his ultimate, no flash on Nisqy for a couple more minutes. Mid lane could be a huge point of focus for SK. And they also have the TP on Blue to come bot.
Hook landing, Treatz level 4. He is the Aftershock Alistar, so he will be tanky if they want to fully commit. For now, though, it is just a pressure play here. Selfmade comes out to clear out some of the SK vision.
Yeah, not many openings right now. The only opening is mid, but I think what you can see here, why junglers are both playing bot side is because, first of all, their bot lanes are their strong point in either team, but second of all, if mid lane has no flash, whichever support can get to mid first will win out and look for the kill, but SK looking for an aggression in bot side.
Oh, big damage coming in. Upset, though, forced to cleanse, then immediately resets the rocket jump and jumps back out. Just a fight for bot lane prio, but burning sums to get it down. Hylissang getting very low.
Yeah, does get low. They do crash the wave, and Selfmade was on the Drake all this time. Bwipo had the TP ready in case they tried to contest it, but he is going to use it back towards the top side. As Fnatic are going to get themselves a Drake, they're going to base and they're going to get back on this map and try and start punishing more towards the bot side, which is what you need to do when you have things like this Tristana.
Yeah, I'd actually love to see how much gold these bot lanes have currently, because SK have the bot lane in a really good position. They're only sitting on 900, so it's not like they need to force a reset anytime soon. Can just hold the wave in front of their turret while Hylissang makes that long trek back towards bot. Maybe pressure upset if he tries to farm a little bit here, because TynX, you'll notice, is on the bottom side of the map. Is level 5, should be very close to 6. And then we'll see where he goes.
And of course, one of the many nice things about Tristana in the meta right now is the relative safety that input buffering rocket jump gives you, even against the threat of 3 members. That said, TynX only level 5 still can't be.
He's like 1 or 2 minions away. It's so sad.
Yeah, look at Selfmade though. He's towards the top side. Jenax has no flash. Herald's up. So if they got this kill and Hylissang was able to move from bot side, they could look for it. Bwipo flashes in.
Body slam, the knockback, it's flawless. Good mechanics coming in. Jenax doesn't look like he can survive that one. Dunked down the heart to finish the job. First blood for Fnatic.
Oh, it's a beautiful combination there from Fnatic. Just like you said, Caedrel, it's going to be the Herald immediately after Selfmade had actually taken the Cloud Drake too. So he's not only ganking every lane, but also getting every objective. And now TynX still level 5 because he gave the blue buff over to blue in the mid lane. It's a disaster.
It's so nicely orchestrated how Selfmade's using this jungle lead. You know, he's a level up, he gets the Drake, he forces the bot lane prio, and now he re-ganks top, which he had ganked earlier because he had so much free time because he was ahead, and he's going to net that into a Herald. So 2 neutral objectives for the side of Fnatic off of Selfmade's clean early game execution, but blue is looking towards his bot side. Upset has no cleanse, so if he gets comboed into a charm, there's no way out.
Yeah, Fnatic have to completely sack this bot side. TynX actually got level 6 off of clearing some wards inside the tri-brush there, so blue will try to pick up some minions, maybe just chunk out Selfmade on his way back towards bot, but Fnatic losing so much in the bot lane.
But super smart play from Fnatic. Selfmade goes mid, pushes out with Nisqy. Now they move back towards the bot side, so SK have to respect it. They have to back up. Yes, they did get a plating, and they did push a couple waves out of Upset's pocket, but he will be able to pick up a little bit of the wave. Blue has TP. Nisqy has TP coming up as well soon, so next thing to look at, how do Fnatic want to use this Herald? And I think you have to go through bot lane, but Hylissang could get caught here. This is kind of dangerous.
Gonna get caught out. Hylissang immediately the chain CC. No chance to even proc his own Aftershock. Just gets absolutely one-shot by the side of SK.
And you hear about it from so many teams when you play against Fnatic. Target Hylissang. The man's always going to be going in. If you can burn a flash, you can kill him. If you can start those kills going down early, that's your way in. This low mana.
The ulti's still available from blue, though. Blue can try to turn this one.
Whoa!
Just keep pushing forward. Wants to walk into the movement speed steroid, but will not. Picking up the ball.
Ooh, really good movement from Nisqy there, forcing blue off. Blue has a TP if he wants to TP back, but it looks like he's going to have to base. He might TP back in for this cannon wave. No, he looks like he's going to stay. He has the ultimate, so he can dodge away from Nisqy's spells, but a lot of pressure here in mid. Selfmade's around as well. And Hylissang's coming to mid out of base, but looks like they're going to move towards the top side. And we'll see how this game progresses.
Good on blue to survive in that exchange. Overall, Selfmade continuing to push in. The big loser in a lot of these exchanges, while TynX has been in the right place, it's Selfmade who's getting the objective, Selfmade who's getting a little bit of extra farm, and we expected bot lane for the Herald, but it might be a top lane play. That's the ulti coming in from Bwipo. The body slam to fall. Jenax knows now that he is in trouble. Selfmade pushing in. He can disable the tower with the ultimate. He might not even need to. He's backing off. The TPs are coming in, but Jenax is so low he can't even help. That TP's looking pretty bad. Blue now running for the hills, trying to dash out. Selfmade safety, but the tower now disabled. Blue getting taken down. Oh no, that is an execution error you cannot afford to make, but Treatz now trying to turn it, trying to knock it back in, trying to pass tower aggro over. It's Bwipo who's been locked up. TynX is here. Hero play. TynX on the way in, trying to get one back, but no. Fnatic just refusing to go down. They've gotten one. Bwipo now going to be in trouble. Treatz going to be in trouble. They've got another one back. Bwipo just barely making it out for now. They should finish him off. There's no way he escapes in that one, but a 2 for 2 in the end.
Look, it's a Fnatic game. There's a Volibear here. Expect turret dives. Fnatic press the limits there, going underneath the tower, and it's just a mad dash from SK to try and cover the entire map and sprint here to protect against the dive.
Yeah, Treatz is absolutely the MVP of his play. Look at him on the minimap. He's on the way up, and SK are losing this fight. The TP from blue is just bad. Bwipo has the E to knock him back. He gets chunked out so much, and Selfmade can disable the tower with this Volibear. Jumps in, manages to pick up blue, and if Treatz wasn't around here, this would have been horrific for the side of SK.
Yeah, and Treatz, I mean, I love the idea from him. He's trying to push Selfmade under the tower to keep the aggro on him. Unfortunately, Selfmade had just gotten out of range there, so it didn't end up working.
Yeah, and I think if SK lost this play, Fnatic would have popped the Herald, top tower would have gone down, and they'd have lost so much more, but it does end up with 2 for 2, and Fnatic don't get as much from the play as they wanted.
You will say, though, critically, it's a 2v1 in that bot side, so looking at overall CS numbers, Upset was slightly behind in CS before that play went down. Now, a very slight lead, not meaning too much, and unclear if they got turret plates off that as well.
But again, we have a situation where something that feels unwinnable for SK is turned by this man on your screen here as Bwipo. Bit of a fumble on the cast, may keep pushing forward for the trade, but Treatz is the guy that we talk about when we look at SK, partly because of the miraculous turns that he has made, partly because of his ridiculous numbers, partly, honestly, because he's just so damn good, going toe-to-toe with Hylissang so far, and someone we're going to continue to watch, but right now the top lane tower more important as the Herald will crash.
Yeah, Treatz showing up to that top lane play just in time, again, saving SK in this early game, but the Herald from Selfmade, which did come out from earlier on, did pick up that neutral objective, is going to put it on the top side, make sure they get the full tower for Bwipo, who, yes, top lane tower in the early game isn't the best one. Mid is always the best, bot lane tower is always the second best, but top is not that great to take early, but Bwipo means he can push in top and he can move towards mid, which means Blue has a harder job at dealing with this top lane for Fnatic because he can just move down on every wave from top lane, and Blue has to play scared or respect the roam constantly. Yeah,
now you will see SK have full vision of the bot side jungle for Fnatic. That's the trade Fnatic is willing to make when they go for that tower, so TynX can easily secure this Drake for his squad. In the meantime, Jezu and Treatz push down that bot wave, but I actually love what Bwipo's doing right now. He's stealing away the Raptor camp on the top side, expecting all of this. It's these small wins that can mean so much later on.
Yeah, like you said in there, and the trade-off for Fnatic is top side vision, right? They have full vision on the top side, Bwipo can push in waves and move down, but I think that Fnatic's win condition is the bot side, so playing towards the top side is all good and dandy, getting Bwipo ahead is nice, but losing Drakes and losing bot plates and losing creeps and bots from being zoned away is not what you want if you're Fnatic. So I want to see Bwipo push out, Selfmade come towards the bot side and start contest. Treatz has no flash. Selfmade was looking for it.
On the Q is big. Might be in trouble here. TynX can try to save him, but he's going to have to burn a lot to get in any deeper. TynX now running into the backside. He's going to knock off Upset, pushing forward. Jezu uses the ultimate, ready to pull the feathers back, but still the dive in from Selfmade. T is going to get rooted up. Selfmade now in trouble. Jenax on the way in, and that's the turn they were waiting for. It's monstrous for SK. Blue is here. They find 2 kills. They are in control of the bottom lane.
It's a huge turn there for SK. They fight Fnatic around the bot lane, play through bot lane. That's always going to be the strat. Fnatic saw Treatz, thought they had a pick on him, but he had the whole crew flying on in to back him up.
But this is Fnatic in a nutshell. Sometimes they are their worst enemy. They were the ones who chose that fight. They were the ones who knew that the enemy team had TP to match, that Blue was moving first towards his bot side. So Fnatic losing 2 members, losing a little bit more on bot side, and Fnatic really need to control this bot side of the map again.
Yeah, and watch this one more time, because again, it is Treatz caught out sort of on his own, but you'll notice he does a couple of good things to slow down the fight at the start. First, it's that Q, a little zoning, then he dodges away from the hook, then hits Hylissang before Hilly can knock that ult off. That depth charge goes so far before hits TynX, and Upset doesn't follow off it.
Yeah, the big thing about this fight is Upset's just zoned away. Jezu's free hitting, but this is the only auto attack that Upset did in the entire fight. There was one on Treatz versus Jezu free hitting on the side of Selfmade. Hylissang also falls, Bwipo does TP in, and that's just a horrific fight for Fnatic. They need to make sure Upset is the one being able to jump forwards and being able to get into these fights.
Yeah, and you look at sort of how the fight played out there. Upset level 8 at the time, not the most attack range as that Tristana. He'd also already used his W, so he's waiting until TynX uses his ultimate because he needs to flash away from it. So the fact that TynX held onto it for so long and then didn't even use it on Tristana just made Upset do nothing for effectively 5-6 seconds.
Yeah, and looking at the map, 3 minutes until the next Drake. Both teams have 1 dragon on either side, and Herald is up. Second Herald, always useful to crack open mid tower, but whoever can get bot lane prio has first access to mid. That's why you see so much fighting around bot, but now there's no TPs. Bwipo can push in top, look him on the minimap. He can move down to mid, move towards bot, and he can always get there first while Jenax is catching top wave. So SK need to find a way to deal with this. They need to find a way to get vision on Bwipo, or at least make sure he's in the top side before they take a fight.
Both mid laners with TP up and available too. Mid lane pressure might matter a lot in the coming play. Of course, a small advantage for Nisqy in the mid lane as he does have the loot completed, but inversely, Upset on the bottom side does not have his Gale Force yet, or the Kraken Slayer, that extra mobility not available to him, which does mean he is more vulnerable in the plays to come.
Yeah, I don't think it's so bad for Fnatic right now that they are behind on the Mythic completion. If you look at sort of objectives going to be spawning, we're still 2.5 minutes away from Drake, and you'd expect in that time Upset is able to farm up Bwipo the same towards topside, and then we're going to be coming in on relatively equal footing for these teams come this Drake fight. Fnatic still slightly ahead in terms of overall gold, and I think the biggest concern for Fnatic is that so much of their damage reliance is going to be put on Upset, and it's only going to become more and more important the later we get. Right now, of course, Gragas, Volibear, these champs do a ton of damage on their own through base damages, but once we get to the point of 3-4 items, that's when Tristana is the champion for Fnatic, and SK have so many tools to dive into the backline.
Yeah, most definitely. I think this Tristana needs to be the one jumping forward so he can actually start being active in these fights. And Fnatic move towards mid to get some vision. I thought they were going to lose their bot tower there, but like I said, I think Herald is the next objective. Drake's in 1 minute 40. If you can secure the Herald earlier on, then you can use the Herald in mid to get access to the Drake first, which means you basically have a guaranteed Drake as well. So we'll see if Fnatic want to pick up the Herald. Jenax is pushing in top, and Treatz is moving up and down this river, so the bot lane prio for this whole game is just the biggest key for both teams.
In these periods of time, you have to imagine is where pressure starts to feel like it's stacking. SK, their first big stage game in the playoffs in a very long time. Jenax, the only player on this lineup with stage experience. For Fnatic, they've been here before. They're not afraid. Jenax going to be leaping out to safety, is forced to use the ultimate, a small win for Fnatic, but won't amount to too much more. That said,
look at mid lane. TynX is coming in.
Eyes on the prize. Clean flash out from Nisqy. The sidestep, he's leaping forward, but the fear comes in, but the charm misses on the fear target. The snap back in. That's disaster. Outplayed by Nisqy. Selfmade with the punish. The flash in for the ultimate. Insult to Hylissang from behind. Now the follow-up is here. Fnatic absolutely devastating SK.
The TP is coming in as well. Nisqy's coming back to the fight.
On the way back in, Blue now going to be in trouble. He's managed to lock up one. He's trying to sidestep. Good damage comes in. Hylissang with the flash forward. The lockup. Blue now going to be in trouble. The hook goes a little bit wide. Blue just barely
Nisqy!
Outplayed right back. Are you kidding me? Blow for blow. These mid laners. Blue now going in, but Bwipo says not today. Turns it right back. And this is the series we wanted to see.
What the hell is going on? Treatz is punching him back underneath the tower, but Upset is here inside SK's jungle. He sets him down, takes him out. Fnatic get the kill.
Oh, Jenax is here now.
Back in the fight.
Bwipo now needs to run. Bwipo going to be in trouble. Bwipo going to get taken down. Stridebreaker in. Upset now has to retreat. This is an absolute banger. How long is this fight going to go?
15 seconds on TP from Blue.
We're waiting. Breath held for a moment. TynX running in. Will they continue the fight? Will they back off? It is blood in the eyes of both lineups.
7
they
seconds.
Don't know when to stop, and I like it. Jenax now leaping in. Stridebreaker cooldown reset. Upset take it down.
Oh my God.
The dunk back down. Selfmade, another name on the list. SK, they have turned disaster into a winning fight. They just keep going. Fnatic wants to punch. They punch back.
The Dragon's in 1 minute 30, but the fight's been going on for 1 minute 30 seconds. Dragon's up. Looks like SK going to hit onto this mid tower, and like you said, the first initial start of the play was horrific, but SK turn it around. It's another dive in mid.
You're seeing it again. Deja vu.
TP burns. Jezu low. Bwipo on the way in. Ultimate is up and available for the Gragas, but there's no flash body slam. It's going to be predictable. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Ahri's pushing.
Yeah, the absurdity of it is Blue TP to top lane while his team is around this Drake. Fnatic, Bwipo still looks like he wants to contest. Nisqy's going to be here, but no ultimate on that Orianna. They're just trying to buy as much time as they can for Fnatic to get here.
Getting lower. No shockwave available. A bit of extra movement speed. They are going to be able to grab the Drake. Bwipo's still threatening.
Oh my.
Umbral chains pulling him back. SK getting pushed away, but they get the objective. They get what they want. It's 2 Drakes to 1 now. SK from falling behind 1.5 gate gold to almost even in the game now with a Drake advantage.
At the flick of a switch, this game turns into an absolute bloodbath. SK get top tier 1, they get the Drake, and Fnatic lose the fight, which SK overreached in.
It was just complete insanity that SK eventually end up winning. Blue even gets that top lane tower, but this game will not slow down. Now no one has summoner spells. Fnatic are looking for a dive of their own.
Bwipo now pushing in. Jenax can get locked up. Stridebreaker. Jenax still alive for now, but they will be able to take him down, and a clean shutdown for Fnatic.
Yeah, that's critical. Getting that money onto Nisqy there as well. Nisqy starting to rake those up, but Jenax also coming out of that fight after being the one initially that almost got picked there. Now sitting with 5 kills, and this man in the top lane for SK, never the type of guy to crush you in lane. But when it comes to the team fights, that's where he shows up. His Aatrox has been a thing of beauty all split long, and in a mad game like this, that's exactly where a champion like that thrives.
And we said bot lanes were what mattered. You saw it in picks and bans, 4 bot lane bans right off the bat. Both sides knew they wanted to take away these priority picks. They traded Tristana for Alistar. It is obviously a bot lane focused series, but in this game, while Treatz has showed up, it is Jenax who is taking names. This man is clutch in every fight he's been a part of so far.
He absolutely has been, and you notice his itemization going into the Spirit Visit's second item, triple AP top side of the map, pretty heavy on that. If you kill Tristana, Aatrox will never die in a fight. That's the mission statement for SK.
Yeah, Jenax role swapped last year, summer 2020 for SK. SK had faith in him to let him go into the top lane role, and he's showing up in this game. But like you said, he's stacking up the magic resist. Upset is going to be crucial in these fights. He doesn't have too many items yet. He's working towards that Phantom Dancer, and now top side of the map is where all the focus is going to be. Upset pushes out. Looks like he's going to pick up that second item, and Nash, Baron Nashor is the focus.
Look, I think Selfmade might be building a Zhonya's second item on the Volibear out of his mind here. Going for those AP ratios. Volibear's got some. This game is crazy enough, though, for it.
I mean, the AP ratios are nuts. It's a good build. I just thought it was a good build for solo queue, mid to high elo. Not a good build for stage, but I love to see it.
And look at Blue's items. Everfrost, Manamune. Now, Manamune did get changed on 11.5. It does focus more towards abilities. So we've seen lots of mages, and I've seen things like Sylas running this, Pantheon, Evelynn, and now Ahri on the side of SK running this Manamune, which will transform into a Muramana, which will do more damage based on their mana.
Yeah, this guy did his math homework for sure, amping up that ability damage. Now we'll see if SK saw Hylissang, if we're going to get another fight. Teleport
Jenax.
on Jenax. He's already here. Bwipo does not have it, so SK want this fight.
TynX.
Pokes, TynX
Zoom, 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 zoom.
But there's no follow-up yet. Blue trying to leap into the safety, but a flash out from Nisqy. A turn back. That's going to be 2 locked up in the shockwave. So far, so good for SK as they managed to take down Hylissang. They're now trying to pull back, but TynX is traded. Jenax here in the backside.
Bwipo's on the way.
Bwipo, can he get there in time? A good input buffer on the Darkened Blade stops the CC from coming through. SK bought themselves a bit of time to move. They're going to try to collapse onto Bwipo, but neither side can get a greater advantage. It is just a 1-for-1.
If you can believe it, Fnatic were the ones that called to slow it down there. Bwipo had a pretty sweet flank, but Nisqy's like, nah, man, I want to get the reset off. We do not need to press it. The last time Fnatic went all in after a fight like that, they ended up losing so much of an advantage. This game's still so close neck and neck.
Yeah, they wanted to punish the number advantage here. They knew Jenax was coming first, and if they can start a fight, that means Bwipo has to TP in to join the fight, which means they'll have TP advantage, but the TP is going into Baron on the live climb. Looks like Fnatic is starting up this Baron. TP from Jenax coming in too.
Shockwave not available. Blue has no way to dash in. TynX with no ultimate, with no ghost either. He's going to have to zoom into this pit.
This one's gone.
Getting lower. Where's the Miracle? Steal out the Hex Flash over the wall. Jenax. They're going in. They're dunking down. Can they finish the Baron? They get it just barely, but now SK wants to take the fight. It's Blue up to the side. Keep your eyes on that charm. Jenax doing good damage, but the follow-up's not quite. Nisqy! That's a hero play! Blue now moving forward. Blue getting taken down. It's the double kill for Bwipo. Fnatic have taken the Baron. They've taken the fight. They've turned the game back in their favor. Nisqy, the clutch player Fnatic were looking for. Selfmade goes golden for a bit of BM. Blue's gonna run for the hills, but my God, that's it. Fnatic have taken the play.
Nisqy just completely destroyed SK in the river right there. When he left the EULCS, he was the 3rd best mid in the league, behind Perks, behind Caps, and he comes back and he puts on a show in his first game in playoffs.
Absolutely fantastic fight from the side of Nisqy. They're going to get the Baron, they're going to win the fight, they're going to get mid tower. Drake's up in 30 seconds as well. Fnatic have blown this game wide open.
And it was a confident play to even go for that Baron, and those kind of risks are what we've seen from Fnatic the entire season. TynX is, well, he's fast. He's exploring. But Fnatic now in total control. We went from a dead even game to now a 6K gold lead for Fnatic on the back of this play. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, SK have to take the fight. They know the Baron's gone, so try and get as many members as you can to deny the Baron buff. Yes, Jenax gets in well, Upset has to jump away, but SK overreach into an Orianna, and they stack up, they clump up, and the Shockwave comes in, and the follow-up from Bwipo was crucial. The initial engage was good, but Bwipo with the E-Flash gets the kill onto Jezu, which means Fnatic can start running forwards and start killing all the members of SK. Jezu had Flash. If he was able to flash out the initial Shockwave, maybe SK could have done something, but Bwipo's re-engage was also as big as the Shockwave itself.
And it's the one thing you can't do here as SK. Upset has already used the rocket jump out. Nisqy holding on to his ultimate. You can't chase into that. If they turn and hit frontline there, hit Hylissang, who is woefully far away from the rest of his team, SK would have stood a much better chance, but they were looking for the ace. Unfortunately, there's a Shockwave right there, and now SK are just trying to set up some sort of death brush to catch Hilly.
Yeah, SK with the death brush. Fnatic with the Baron. The first Baron of the game normally cracks open Tier 2. So Tier 2 mid and Tier 2 top is still up for the side of SK. That's Fnatic's objective. They want to crack open these towers and force SK under their Tier 3s. Looks like they're going for a 4-1 here. 4 members up towards the top side as Upset pushing the wave. Bwipo's in mid. He has the TP to join the top side fight. And SK, they don't have any lanes to play on. Bot's not pushing. It looks like they're going to have to play to defend. So they need to make sure they face chuck the top side jungle safely and they can defend this tower. But it's going to be very difficult. Tower's low. It looks like it's just going to be taken down.
SK backing away. When we said bot lane, SK said top lane. When we say bot lane, Fnatic says mid. Nisqy showing up in a big way. Remember, we weren't sure how to feel about this guy when he came back to the league. When he left, he was top 3, just behind Perks, just behind Caps. Now returning, it looks like he's out to make a name for himself once again. Fantastic performance so far.
SK have dropped the ball a bit here on the defense. Looks like they are going to get towards top side in the end. Bwipo taking down this mid tier 2, so you can see how the Baron's working so well on pressure points. Pressuring top, pressuring mid. And Nisqy, I'm keeping my eyes on Nisqy in these fights. If he can hit another shockwave like that, that's going to be the end for SK.
Absolutely. SK have to figure out some sort of answer into that. And I just love how Fnatic were able to reclaim this topside jungle, take it over completely, dodging away from the areas that SK had controlled. They didn't even try to challenge around the Raptor pit. That's where SK were setting up. Instead, they went through the top side, then had Bwipo slowly push through mid. Once they saw 3-4 members of SK defending that top side turret, it is very clinically here from Fnatic after a completely chaotic early mid game.
It was indeed, and not quite the same way that we always expect Fnatic games to play out. A little bit more calm in the first few minutes, but definitely has gotten more explosive as we've gotten deeper into the game. That said, when we talk about SK, when we talk about Treatz, we talk about clutch factor. We painted a picture. You kill the Tristana in a fight, the Aatrox is unkillable. Now, a little more killable now that he is so far behind the competition, but still, not a lot of AD threat once Upset is taken down. Additionally, Blue fully stacked Muramana. So there are avenues, there are options for SK to find their way back into the game, but it is certainly Fnatic in the driver's seat.
Yeah, most definitely, especially when you got a player like Treatz in the support role on Alistar, especially. I mean, he needs to finally kind of engage. It shuts Upset down and makes Jenax get the reset so he can keep diving into the backline against his triple AP topside, like we highlighted earlier on. So Treatz is definitely the player I'm keeping my eye on. He's done it whole split long. It's almost like his comfort zone, being behind, losing his tier 2s, finding the engage, and then mounting a massive comeback.
Yeah, and specifically was Treatz and Jenax working in tandem to destroy teams. I remember the game where it's the Jarvan on Treatz and the Aatrox and on Jenax, setting up 3-4-man queues there on the Aatrox, completely sustaining through whatever damage the other team can put out. Now down 7,000 gold. The other problem is certainly going to be Nisqy now with a stopwatch. The Zhonya is completed on Selfmade too, so a lot of good defensive options for Fnatic.
Hunt back. Treatz no spells left. Fnatic collapsing into the mid lane. Not really a wave here to back them up though, so just a bit of a pressure play, trying to secure more vision, trying to secure more jungle camps, slowly build this lead up over SK.
Yeah, and after taking those 2 outer towers from Fnatic, it looks like they've slowed the game down. There isn't much to play for. They have to wait for the next dragon to spawn. They can't just mount and engage onto SK because they don't have the vision to do it. You can see SK defending their tier 3s, making sure that they can somehow find some engage. Some with the pinks needs to set up on the top side. SK, they know if Fnatic walk too far forwards, they can find a fight, and it wouldn't be very good for Fnatic. They can't siege these tier 3s because SK have too much wave clear. But Hylissang,
oh, that was close. Jezu not even flinching there to pop the ultimate. SK with TynX on the flank. They don't want to pull the trigger just yet. We're 40 seconds away from the Baron. That's what Fnatic were waiting for. And if you look at the items, it's all 3 item completed for the Fnatic carries, top, mid, and ADC. SK do not have that luxury, and we're going to be heading into another situation where Fnatic start up the Baron, start up the Dragon, and SK have to walk into them.
Yeah, exactly. You can see what Fnatic's doing. They're catching the waves in front of SK on the tier 3s, pushing them in so SK can only stay in their base, and when the objective spawns, after they push these waves in, they can turn and burn these objectives, and SK have to react in time. They're going to be showing on the waves. Fnatic will have full information, full vision when they start these objectives up, but it looks like Fnatic have based. Yeah. SK can regain some control of their jungle, which will be crucial before these fights start. I mean, look at the side lane waves. SK they have to manage so many things. They have to manage vision, man. They have to find engages, they have to catch waves to make sure they don't fall far behind. The Baron's up, 30 seconds on Dragon. What's Fnatic going to choose first?
Well, Fnatic chose to restock control wards completely. TynX did get that good vision in the top side jungle, as we mentioned. And will Fnatic clear away this ward? They do. Hylissang does spot it. Now everything gets deleted. Fnatic may even decide to send Selfmade to solo out the Drake. I would love that play from then. SK, of course, have to be pulled towards the gravity almost of this Baron objective. And that means Fnatic can push this out and get both objectives.
Yeah, SK have to contest the mid waves. They have to start pushing up and getting some kind of vision. The shockwave, though, hits onto Treatz.
That's one. For now, both sides waiting. SK smell blood in the water, though. With that major cooldown gone, maybe they feel a bit more comfortable stepping forward. They're setting their sights on Baron.
Ooh. I don't know if SK have the damage to burn it down. Fnatic should be able to respond in time. Maybe they can look for some kind of pick. They know the shockwave's down. The team fight should be in their favor in a sense because Nisqy doesn't have the shockwave, but it will come back up soon, so SK have to make a decision fast. They've gotten a little bit of vision. They need to make sure they get back to mid and catch this wave. Otherwise, Fnatic can just run it down mid. But SK are on the flank.
Treatz on the flank. That is one fast pony, but TynX is not going to go in quite yet. Now it's a major cooldown been used. They're going to miss the initial CC. Treatz goes in. He manages to find 2. Nisqy and Upset untouched on the backside, but it's Upset still throwing down damage. The rest of the team now escaping, going golden. A stopwatch. Xayah's going to keep Fnatic healthy for now, but there's Bwipo. There's the knockback. Jezu goes up, comes down, and is knocked out. Fnatic on the hunt. Upset gets the reset. He can jump back in if he wants to. The rest of the team pushing in, and Fnatic absolutely smashing that exchange.
Yeah, Selfmade's dead, though. What can Fnatic get for this? The Baron is up, but they don't have Smite. TynX is alive. It is a 3 versus 4, but Fnatic don't have too many cooldowns. The shockwave has come back up. We'll see how Fnatic deal with this. It might look like they want to start the Baron up because Dragon's dead, but it looks like they're going back towards the mid wave, keep these waves pushed in, and make sure SK can't get any vision control. They can't see anything on the map apart from this one ward in the Baron pit.
Yeah, only Hylissang would sit here on 300 HP. Now TynX has no way to get into the pit, and they're just going to wait. Who's going to step too close? Who's going to face check the brush?
Shockwave!
That's going to be 2. Big damage. No way they can contest now. Doesn't result in kills, but it's going to stop anyone from getting into that pit. Jenax debating, but he is going to back away.
Oh, he's on a ward! He's on a ward!
Fnatic just going to take away this objective nice and clean. 31 minutes into the game. Fnatic almost 10k in the lead at Soul Point in 3.5. 3 minutes of Baron to back them up as well.
And honestly, this isn't a bad attempt for a fight from SK. They know there's no ultimate on Nisqy here, but at the start, I think a few abilities go wide, and Hylissang is able to dodge away from that. Bwipo also gets over the wall.
Yeah, I think the key thing is Bwipo had to use his E to get out of the fight, so he couldn't re-engage it. So it gave SK around a 5-second window to start hitting the front line for free. But when Bwipo comes back into the fight, Jezu gets knocked in, and from there, the fight's kind of over. Upset gets the reset on Jezu, can jump forwards, and now SK have to retreat. Treatz gets taken down. Yes, Selfmade does die, but Fnatic, they played the fight really well. I think Bwipo using the E backwards was to dodge away from a lot of the skill shots that SK were throwing to find the engage, but when Bwipo came back into the fight, he managed to clutch it out.
It was just so hard, too, from SK coming in at such a disadvantage in terms of overall itemization. They didn't quite have that upfront burst, you know, remove the front line right away, and now once again SK will find themselves pressed deep into their base. This time though, 2 minutes 45 away from the Infernal Soul, and the Baron, this one likely cracks open the base.
Yeah, Fnatic same setup as before. Bwipo mid, 4 members towards the top side. Fnatic want to make sure they stay grouped. They have a really good teamfight comp, and SK have a lot of engage. So you can see Bwipo just playing defensive, pushing in the waves, whereas the main pressure point is on this top side. Looks like Fnatic are going to pick up this inhibitor. The bot wave's actually pushing in, so SK need to deal with the bot wave before they get back to mid.
And look, there's no flash on Treatz, there's no ghost on TynX. How do you force this fight onto Upset, who has his flash, is level 16. He's going to be hitting you with those bullet shells from miles away, able to siege this turret with relative ease. And in a short while, you're going to have the super minions coming in top side too. Fnatic continue to play 2 lanes. 4 players in mid, Bwipo
Treatz
down bot side.
There's a ward there though. Looks
What can he do?
Fnatic on the retreat. TynX sees his opportunity. He knows he has to go in, but he's debating. He's hesitating. He doesn't know where to go. They're going to pull away. Selfmade getting picked off on the side. Those massive, but they can't finish the job.
Bwipo's in their base.
Bwipo. This is a big play. Infernal Chains are there. He's going to get pulled back. He has to wait. He has to bide his time. Hylissang not going to go over the wall. Bwipo getting caught out. Bwipo getting taken down. SK more than happy to grab him there, and Bwipo overstaying his welcome. A decent shockwave to disengage, but Fnatic now have to retreat. This should have been their sole point. This should have been more of the base falling, but Fnatic now pulling away. Upset throwing down the damage, though. It's Jenax who has overstayed. The rest of the Fnatic now on the collapse. Treatz now going back in there, trying to turn. They're desperate to get anything. TynX
What can Jezu do?
Down. Everybody goes golden, and the fight goes in favor of Fnatic. Blue on the retreat. Through the tower. Double for Fnatic, the ace, and they are now poised to end the game.
Somebody censor it. Don't let the SK fans see that play, because even after losing Bwipo, Fnatic absolutely took them apart. SK could not reach the Fnatic backline, and Fnatic are going to take them down in game 1.
Yeah, SK overreaching. They had to find something. Bwipo made a mistake. They had to capitalize on it, but Fnatic, they find the turn. Nisqy with the flash forwards with the Everfrost managed to pick up the backline of SK, and Fnatic take game 1.
Fnatic, early game, pretty controlled. Selfmade very active on the map, but 1 or 2 explosive plays in the mid game work out in their favor. Now, admittedly, not everything going to plan. SK were able to find that massive mid lane fight that eventually turned for them, but a very scrappy series as expected. And while Fnatic are off to a good start, the question on the opposite side now is how do SK recover heading into game 2?
I mean, you can see it in game 1, right? Fnatic, their playstyle is a blessing and a curse. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And you could see on the mid dive, it didn't work out too well. Yes, SK did manage to save the play in a sense, but Fnatic overreach. In the bot play, they went too deep. SK need to punish Fnatic overreaching for kills, because that's just their playstyle. They like to go for fights on a 50-50 basis, even if they have to.
And look, we saw moments of SK doing the same thing. We know, especially the supports love to just go flying in whenever they see an opportunity. So this game, this series is going to stay high action, stay very fast paced, and it's only going to get better from here.
And honestly, what more can you ask for? Fnatic, they've kicked off playoffs with a win. We're going to take a closer look at game 1 in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
They are out there, waiting to be discovered. Some of them are big, and some of them are small. But that's the thing with ideas. They don't just come to you. To find them, you have to move. Kia. Movement that inspires.
You don't have a chance against me. I can calculate 19 trillion moves in advance. Not fair. Not fair.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Check out our gym lover Vedius. Oof, those new LEC joggers look fine. With their flexible and soft material, this boy could squat for years in a permanent state of comfort. Ain't that great? Here we have the wonderful Shox, rocking our new LEC t-shirt. With the simple design and great fit, it will add to any look you're after. Fans not included. Wow, Medic, it sure is cold in here. Take this. With the new LEC hoodie, you'll never feel the cold again. So it's like you'll have your own personal tibbers, just without the fire and the burning. The new LEC merch is soft, comfortable, and stylish. Look at how happy they all are. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to lec.gg/merch and get yours now.
Welcome back to the LEC Analyst Desk. Quickshot, Vedius, and Crownshot. Going to do our best to break down that game. There is a lot to talk about and not a lot of time. So we've had to focus in on what we wanted to talk about. And that means looking at the draft first and foremost, Fnatic, they were able to come out on top. And when we saw these two team compositions backstage, and what we were talking about was Fnatic should focus bot lane. Fnatic should get upset ahead. Didn't actually work out that way. Now, before we get to that, what do you make of the drafts?
So I kind of like both. for different reasons, okay? So I'm going to start by talking about how, like, Fnatic's comp is, like, very straightforward. They have a strong bot side of the map, weak top side. The Volibear did surprise me. I knew that it was buffed, but I didn't expect it to be as active as he was with Selfmade. But it's overall, like, a very straightforward, what I would call front-to-back teamfight comp. Fnatic is a team that likes to skirmish, and I think that Volibear is a great champion that can enable strong skirmishing in the early game, especially against a champion like Hecarim, who I don't think has the strongest damage portfolio. But in the same vein, I think SK have a lot of playmaking potential. Personally, I like Ahri in the current meta. Number one, because I think she has a build that can work with Everfrost. But number two, I think her pick potential is greatly underappreciated. And the fact that you can, like, in the same way that a Blitzcrank hook can change a game, I think Ahri Charms can do the same thing, and because of her dashes, she has a lot of options to do it. So when you pair that up with a player like Treatz, who is a big playmaker on champions like Alistar, and they do have a strong top side of the map that they can actually play through with a pretty decent mid game, I feel like SK actually have some decent options to be able to make plays. But overall, I think the Fnatic's comp is a lot more well-rounded and has the better scaling and more teamfight options later into the game.
Now, talk to me about the early game pathing, Crownshot. We were discussing when we were building this segment out how Selfmade was playing. You know, Vedius just talked about how active he was, and maybe it's a slightly different look, was something that the casters were talking about in game. What was your read?
I mean, Selfmade, I gave him back in 2019 when I played with him. He used to play Rek'Sai, and he would find these like crazy ganks, or he would like flash in the lane from one lane bush to the other to surprise the enemy. So he was always very creative with gank opportunities. So it's nice to see him on something more active. I mean, I can't say I expected him to play this, but it's good to see that they have a lot of options in what they want him to play.
And of course, when you look at this replay on your screen right now, it starts, of course, with Selfmade making a move towards the bottom lane. But Vedius, you lost your mind at how Treatz was able to turn this around.
Oh, yes, this was the play. Yeah. So what was crazy about that play was the commentators talked about it.
I don't know if we can play it again. If we can play it again, can you just re-rack it?
If we can, because I'd also really like to pause it if we can, because there's this really insane thing that the Treatz does, which I just wanted to use this moment to highlight how insane of a player Treatz is. So already, earlier on in the play, right, Treatz saved the top lane play, right? So if we could just pause it right now, okay? So in this situation, it looks like that this is a standard 3v3 from a holistic standpoint. What Treatz has actually done is by removing the front line of Hylissang into the top, they've actually created a 3 versus 2 situation between Selfmade and Upset. And then when TynX engages and Upset jumps out, so we can roll the replay now, what Selfmade actually finds himself in is a 3 versus 1 situation. So like, somehow, Treatz has managed to not only avoid getting collapsed on, but he's able to turn it around so that they can then collapse on Selfmade and turn this into a winning play. And like, we've been hyping Treatz up a lot this split, but like, that was such a great example of how he didn't plan that, it just kind of happened.
Absolutely the case. Now we jump straight into this next replay. This is a long one, all right? Everyone watching at home. It starts with Nisqy being dove, and the total game time will run for about 2 minutes. Crownshot, I want to jump to you on this one. What is it like when you, a professional player, are watching Fnatic and SK on stage, going, chasing for kills, diving? We were talking about Fnatic's aggression, and now we're going to see it come to pass.
Yeah, I mean, it's the classic, right? I think here, after SK are the ones who overchase. I think he misplayed Sati a bit, but it doesn't really matter. After Bwipo kills Blue here, and Treatz flashes to try and kill him and doesn't do anything with it, the play is over, right? The map is over, it's won for Fnatic, because they just push mid, Upset can rotate, take the tower, somebody has to catch the bot wave from SK, which means the map is completely Fnatic's, right? But they end up overchasing, Bwipo dies, Aatrox gets like 2 kills, shut down, their tempo is completely doomed, and they lose Drake.
Crownshot,
so,
does this play make you angry when you look at this? Like, because you know what, like we expect it from Fnatic, but when you see it, and this play will still go for another 30 seconds. You know, does it make you?
Yeah, I mean, most of it, I think coaches get the most angry when they see play like this, because it's like every coach stresses, oh, you know, reset after a good team fight, get back on the map. But yeah, I mean, players like fighting, I guess. But I mean, I thought after SK failed the dive that was pretty much over, but Fnatic ended up doing kind of the same thing.
Absolutely crazy. Look, it was at that point I started to get a little bit nervous for Fnatic. The game was still very, very even. But as we move towards this Baron, and for any golden oldies out there, 3,000 elo Shockwave. Shout out for Lord. Vedius, talk to me about how this was sort of the game-defining, game-winning moment for Fnatic.
Well, this was just MVP Nisqy right here. You know, I think that. In my opinion, one of the things about Fnatic's comp is that they have a lot of good engage, but they have to be like setting the terms for their engage. So when SK get an opportunity to engage on them at the Barons, it's actually a really good opportunity for them. Unfortunately, they funnel into this position where they're all grouped up, and Nisqy's able to find the Shockwave with which Fnatic's strong re-engage tools can then find a really good fight afterwards. And like they were already in a very good position beforehand. But what was crazy about the fact that they forced that Baron in the first place, like this was something where when you kind of look at the game state, like maybe Crownshot will disagree with me, and I'm curious as to his opinions on this. Like, I felt like Fnatic had a better scaling comp. Like, they didn't have to force that Baron, right? They just saw a window to do it,
but
so they did it.
Never have to force it. They do it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think what they saw, I think there was a replay showing, but I think what they saw was TynX having a bad reset and his ult being down, and then he has Ghost, right? He doesn't have Flash, so he has no way of getting into pit.
Right.
And I guess they just thought they could burn it in time. But I agree for sure their comp does scale better. And that's why I personally prefer Orianna over Ahri. And I'd also like to add that Ahri went like a Muramana build.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it makes sense because she's already playing with 3 AD champs, right? Hecarim, Aatrox, and Xayah. But anyway, I do think Fnatic scale better, but they just saw a bad tempo reset from TynX, and they saw that he has no ult, I guess. So they just went for it. Well, obviously, it's a bit of a ballsy call, but
that's definitely the case. Gentlemen, I really, really wish we could continue talking, but we are getting ready for picks and bans in a moment or two. Just before we head off, SK Gaming, as they lost game 1, they do have side selection. They have elected to stay on red side as we go into game 2. And after looking at the craziness and the chaos, I think Oda captured the essence of this game flawlessly. At least we could say for sure, none of these teams are choking on stage. It was something we talked about a lot. I love that SK are willing to look Fnatic in the eyes and pick a fight, and I want to see more of this. I want to see 5 games of this, so come on, SK. In our first game on stage in over a year, Fnatic secured the win in an action-packed classic. We'll see if that success can continue in return. I mean, I hope so, because that was, like, there's just...
It was fun. Good way to start.
What do you mean?